sensor. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is an Apple Watch Ultra 9-month review, and at the same time, an Apple Watch Series 3-month review. I have both watches because I use both, and it's nice to be able to make comparisons, have both of them so that I can tell you the difference, try out different features and different accessories, and tell you how everything works together. I think that's a valuable asset to have for a channel like ours, which does reviews. So today we're going to be doing, like I said, a 9-month review of the Apple Watch Ultra and a 3-month review of the Apple Watch Series. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, we've got the Series 8 Apple Watch in stainless steel on our left wrist here, and we've got the original Apple Watch Ultra, the first gen, on our right wrist. But the disclaimer is, if you're purchasing an Apple Watch by this time, if you're watching this video, it's the Ultra 2 that you can buy and the Series 9 respectively. But there really isn't much of a difference between the original Ultra and the Series 8 versus the Ultra 2 and the Series 9. So we're going to go ahead and continue to make this review. But without further ado, and actually kind of a plot twist here, we're going to talk about just one thing and one thing only that I discovered wearing an Apple Watch, and what should actually encourage you to purchase the more expensive model. So we've got the Ultra 2 or the Ultra, the Apple Watch Ultra, and then you've also got the Series 9, which actually comes in 2 finishes. As you can see here, I've got it on my left wrist here. Like I said, it's a Series 8, but not much of a difference between the Series 8 and Series 9. In fact, they're exactly the same dimensions and fit and finish. The only difference is the processor inside is a little bit faster for the Series 9 versus Series 8. But what I was going to say was you can actually get the Apple Watch Series in stainless steel or in aluminum, and of course the Ultra comes in titanium. But this is what I wanted to highlight. We're going to talk about one thing and one thing only. Something I discovered wearing the Apple Watch is if you buy the more expensive Apple Watch Ultra or purchase the more expensive stainless steel Apple Watch Series, for example, you get an upgraded display which has sapphire crystal versus Ion X on the aluminum. So just for an example, if we go click buy Apple Watch Series 9, you can actually choose between aluminum, which starts at $399, or you can choose the stainless steel, which will bump it up to $699. So you can see the difference actually between the stainless steel and the aluminum. You can see that the stainless steel obviously has a shinier polish finish, and the aluminum is a little bit more subdued, it's neutral. But the difference is the aluminum has the Ion X and the stainless steel has the sapphire crystal, and the sapphire crystal is scratch resistant, and the Apple Watch Ultra also has the sapphire crystal, making it also scratch resistant. And believe me, after wearing the Ultra for 9 months, the display is in beautiful condition, and that's because it has sapphire crystal. And what I wanted to highlight in this video was the fact, if you're shopping for the Apple Watch, whether it be the Ultra or the Series, you'll notice that scrolling through, and actually probably the Ultra might be a better example, but scrolling through Apple's website and even on YouTube, watching other YouTube reviews, what you'll notice is the watch is always presented on top of the wrist. But if you've worn watches or maybe wear a wristwatch regularly, you'll know that sometimes it's a good idea wearing it on the back side of your wrist instead of on top of your wrist. And actually, wearing the Ultra, because it's kind of big and chunky, you can see the dimension of it, it does stand out and does draw attention. So it is advantageous actually to have the ability to maybe wear it on top of the wrist with just the band exposed so that it doesn't look as intrusive if you're maybe conscious about that. And what I wanted to highlight here was, like I said, if you actually go on Apple's website and read the white paper, so to speak, you'll notice that all of the product images are of the watch being worn upright on the top of the wrist. And like I said, one thing you'll notice wearing the Apple Watch Ultra is it's big and will maybe, or if you're wearing the series with stainless, it might be a little bit flashy. Being able to flip it over and wear it on the back side of your wrist is comfortable and does offer a different experience, a more subtle user experience. It allows you to maybe go and work in some of those types of places where having an expensive flashy watch might put you on the spot. And what I wanted to highlight here was the functionality of having the sapphire crystal will enable this, because if you have the Ion X, you will find yourself planting the face of the Apple Watch, the display side, if you are wearing it on the back of your wrist, down on the table, for example, exposing the display. So, but like I said, so it's kind of a bad idea actually if you've got the aluminum series Apple Watch with Ion X glass. But if you spend just a little bit more money and get the Apple Watch Ultra or the stainless steel and get the sapphire crystal glass, you do afford yourself the option of being able to wear the watch on the back side of your wrist, which does make it more wearable with that sapphire crystal, since you will find yourself facing the Apple Watch down on top of its display from time to time, wearing it on the back of your wrist. So just wanted to make a quick 9-month review of the Apple Watch Ultra and 3-month review of the Apple Watch series stainless steel. I definitely recommend moving up to the stainless steel because it has a sapphire crystal, or the Ultra because it too also has that sapphire crystal, versus the aluminum with the Ion X glass. Because if you go up to the stainless or the Ultra, you do afford yourself the ability to wear the watch on the back of your wrist, which does from time to time make wearing the watch more comfortable. And this is something, if you're shopping for the Apple Watch Ultra, you will not see on Apple's website or in other reviews. So this is something I just wanted to highlight and share with you. You do get what you pay for going for the cheaper aluminum Apple Watch versus going for the more expensive Apple Watch Ultra or the stainless steel. And that is, like I said, the ability to wear either the stainless or the Ultra on the back of the wrist, which definitely comes in handy, which enhances the versatility and overall makes the watch more functional and more comfortable to wear. So if you're shopping for the Apple Watch, do take this into consideration. The aluminum, not ideal wearing it on the back of your wrist. This is something that you don't see, that isn't highlighted too often in YouTube Apple Watch review videos, which is the reason I'm making this review video, or on Apple's website. All right, guys, that has been just a quick 9-month review of the Apple Watch Ultra and 3